Ice Barrier, an archetype that has made its mark in competitive history as boss monsters for other, better decks. As for the rest of the archetype, well, it's pretty much been a laughingstock, after being called one of the worst archetypes in the game's long history. And with the thought that was the structure deck, it felt as if it would never shake that reputation. But with the release of Terminal World, the new support for Ice Barriers seemed poised to salvage the strategy, and just maybe leave their reputation behind. Getting into the list, Revealer of the Ice Barrier is our main normal summon and comes with a few effects. If you control another Ice Barrier monster, it prevents your opponent from tribute summoning, which is almost never relevant, but it's real annoying when it does come up. The main effect here is its ability to discard a card to special summon an Ice Barrier tuner from our deck, but locks us into special summoning only water monsters for the rest of the turn. It also has an additional effect to banish itself from the graveyard if you discard a card or send a card from your hand to the graveyard for the cost of an Ice Barrier monster. Revealer is the main starter of the deck, and we have several options for tuners to summon off of her effect, but usually we'll summon Hexa Spirit of the Ice Barrier. This level 1 tuner reduces the attack and defense of your opponent's monsters by 500 each if you control another Ice Barrier monster, and during the main phase, it can send a level 3 or lower Ice Barrier monster from your deck to the graveyard to change its level to the level of the send monster until the end of the turn. Before the new support, this didn't really accomplish much, but now we can use this effect to send a new Mirror Magic Master of the Ice Barrier from our deck to the graveyard. If sent to the graveyard, this level 2 Aqua Tuner allows us to add an Ice Barrier card that is banished or in the deck to our hand, essentially turning Hexa Spirit into a free search. In addition, if we do get Mirror Master on board, it can contribute another effect monster to special summon up to 3 level 1 Ice Barrier tokens, and raise its level by the same amount, although you are locked into water synchros for the rest of the turn. Even with the lock, it still gives us access to a pretty respectable pool of monsters, and it also helps provide us with non-tuners, which the deck can often find itself short on. The last tuner we have is Georges, Swordsman of the Ice Barrier, a level 6 Wing Beast. If you control an Ice Barrier monster, you can special summon him from the hand, and if normal special summoned, you can special summon a level 5 or lower Ice Barrier monster from the hand or graveyard, making him an excellent extender. However, Georges also has a relevant Floodgate effect, preventing your opponent from activating monster effects in the graveyard if you control another Ice Barrier, which means that we may consider keeping him on board. We also have a few additional extenders in Speaker for the Ice Barriers and General Wayne of the Ice Barrier, which both can special summon themselves if conditions are met. Lastly, we have our 2 Floodgates that will be key to our end boards, General Raiho of the Ice Barrier and Medium of the Ice Barrier. General Raiho makes it so that any monster effect activated on failed will force your opponent to discard a card on resolution, or the effect will be negated. Medium, on the other hand, prevents your opponent from activating more than one spell or trap per turn. These effects can often be backbreaking in the right matchups, and we can summon them with ease thanks to our new synchro boss that we will cover later. As for our non-Ice Barrier cards, we have Ice Jade Ran Azurin, which essentially gives us a free level 10 synchro for the cost of discarding a water monster, as well as our hand traps, Maxi, Ash Blossom, and Effect Failure. For our spells and traps, we have Freezing Chain of the Ice Barrier, a continuous spell that when activated, can target and special summon a level 4 or lower Ice Barrier monster from the graveyard. In addition, while we control 3 or more Ice Barrier monsters, it makes all Ice Barrier monsters unaffected by the activated effects of your opponent's monsters that were special summoned from the extra deck, making for great protection. For consistency, we have Medallion of the Ice Barrier, our archetypal non-once per turn Rota, and Pot of Prosperity. To help us play through interaction, we have Caught by the Grave, Crossout Designator, and Triple Tactics Talent. And for our traps, we have the brand new Frozen Domain leading to the Ice Barrier, a continuous trap with 3 effects. Firstly, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in response to your Ice Barrier monster effects. Secondly, if a monster is special summoned from the extra deck, you can return one Ice Barrier monster you control to the hand or deck, then place a card from the field or graveyard on the bottom of the deck. However, once per turn during your end phase, you have to reveal 3 Ice Barrier monsters with different names in your extra deck or destroy this card. This isn't much of a maintenance cost as we're unlikely to burn through all our Ice Barrier synchros, but we still have to keep this in mind. Lastly, we run out our list with infinite impermanence for a few additional hand traps. For the extra deck, we run a few link monsters that are occasionally helpful, such as SP Little Knight and Marine's Coral Anemone, but we'll mainly be using water synchros, including our brand new boss monster, Lancia Dragonic Ancestor of the Ice Spirit Mountain. This level 10 Water Dragon Synchro monster requires a Water Tuner and one or more non-tuners to synchro summon, and once per chain, if your opponent special summons a monster, you can special summon an Ice Barrier monster from your hand, deck, extra deck, or graveyard, Then you can also change an opponent's attack position monster to defense position. This is a fantastic effect, allowing us to access any Ice Bearer monster, including our floodgates, from almost anywhere, as well as protect them from being run over by changing threats to defense position. And for some reason, you can use it twice each turn. In addition, if this Synchro Summon card in its owner's control leaves the field by your opponent's card, it can special summon an Ice Bearer Synchro monster from your extra deck, treating it as a Synchro Summon, which means that removing Lancia usually means that your opponent will be on the receiving end of a Trishula. Lancia is a great boss monster for Ice Bearers and will be making it almost every game and almost every turn, but keep in mind that it's not actually an Ice Bearer itself, which means that we require another monster to turn on the effects of our Ice Barriers. So, the good news. The support has done a great job in tying the separate pieces of Ice Barrier together, giving them a competent engine that enables them to access their unique floodgates, which players may not be prepared to deal with. It's consistent, resource efficient, and allows them to actually summon their boss monsters, which is a nice change. In addition, Lancia is a fantastic addition to the deck's arsenal, often controlling games on its own, which is something that Ice Barriers desperately needed. Unfortunately, the deck still faces a few problems. Firstly, it struggles to play through interaction. Almost every extender in the deck requires you to control an Ice Barrier monster, which means that if your opponent can remove your normal summon, you're almost always out of luck. Secondly, the pool of water synchros just isn't deep enough. While monsters like Dragite, Agerine, and Crocosaur are decent enough, they often lack coverage and can be ineffective in certain matchups. This means that Lancia often does the bulk of the heavy lifting, and if your opponent can deal with it, or avoid triggering it, the board can often feel weak. Ice Barrier is fun and definitely playable now, but it feels like it's missing an essential piece. Hopefully it can get there with future support, whether direct or indirect, but at the moment it just isn't quite there yet.